Hello everyone. I'm making part two of the book Atomic Habits. Great book, highly recommended. And I'll be talking about habits 3 and 4, which are the last two habits that I haven't talked about. So habit 3 is to make them easy. And a good way to do it is by reducing the friction and prime the habits that we want to develop. So this allows us to increase the odds of actually doing the positive or the good habits. And a way to do it is to simply set up our environment appropriately to make doing things easier. For example, you can place like a pill that you want to take in a place that you occasionally visit anyways daily, right next to your other pills, for example. That way you're going to remember to take it. So essentially allowing us to allowing us to do the task in an easier way by setting up the environment appropriately. There's another way. You can use something called the 2-minute rule, and you start small to build motivation for hard habits like taking a cold shower or doing meditation. And essentially it involves, for example, simply meditating for 2 minutes, right? And that's something much easier than doing a half an hour or a 90-minute session. For example, if you want to do yoga, you can start doing like a 5-minute yoga session rather than doing a 90-minute hot yoga class, right? So starting small really allows you to kind of have a motivation to do it, because let's face it, people don't want to exercise for very long because it doesn't meet our underlying evolutionary needs. So it goes against our evolutionary needs as ancestors, right? And it's very, very tough. It's called a hard habit. Exercise is an example of a hard habit. Cold showers, meditation, those are some things that are more challenging for people. And it depends. One person, it may be an easier habit than for another. What's a hard habit? I guess is dependent on the person. But we all share kind of like underlying evolutionary needs, and exercise kind of contradicts them. That's why people don't like going to the gym, etc. And so that's why if you can make it easier for you by doing the 2-minute rule, you're making it easier. And over time, you can keep increasing that duration. You can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, up to the point that you'd like to work out for. So that's one example. You can start meditating for 2 minutes. You can start reading a book for only 2 minutes, right? If you want to go out for a walk, well, then you can start simply 2 minutes by putting on your clothes. That's okay. Even if you don't actually go for the walk, it's going to set you up. 2 minutes, even just like you're about to do it. The steps that you need to do it were involved. So you can start by putting on your shoes. Next day, putting on your shoes plus your clothing. Next day, 1 minute outside in the sunshine. Next day, 5 minutes, etc. Right? Or even 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It can be very small increments, but you're making it easy by using the 2-minute rule, right? Or up to 2 minutes. And then eventually, whenever you feel like it, whenever you have the motivation, you can start increasing the time if you'd like to. Okay? So again, how can we make it easy? By simply changing our environment appropriately and by using the 2-minute rule, are two great strategies to make habits easy. And then the fourth habit is to make it immediately satisfying. So if a habit is immediately rewarded, it will be repeated, right? If it's immediately punished, it will not be repeated. So that's the way to do it. For example, after a workout, you can go out on a spa, right? Something that you enjoy is a spa. You don't want to do the workout, but you set it up such that after you do something that you don't want to do, you do something rewarding, something that you do want to do. And that's going to allow that behavior to be repeated. So habits 1, 2, and 3 allow you to do that habit in that particular time. Habit 4 allows that habit to be repeated so that you keep on doing it afterwards. It has to be satisfying, right? For example, a toothpaste that you use has a nice, like it's fresh, it has a nice smell, right? That's very important. Using the senses, right, to make it satisfying will all allow you to be satisfied and repeat that habit. So that's one. You can simply reward yourself after. How else can you make it immediately satisfying? Well, you can use something called the habit tracker. So habit tracker is when you literally write down a calendar, and I have it here. Just give me a moment, I will bring it. I don't know if you guys can see it here. But essentially it looks like this. And the point being is, you guys can see here, right? I mark an X on the day, right? I made this calendar myself, but you can just use any other type of calendar. And all you do really, it's very, very simple. You cross out the day. For me, I just bubbled in circles on this board. And every day I do it because I have a whole big page because I have many goals that I want to do. And for each of them, I can cross out. I do it like for a 3-month setup, but you can do it for any duration that you want. And I simply do X, X, X if I do that habit. So for example, if I follow my morning routine, I put an X on that day. If I follow my evening routine, if I exercise, right? If I do strength training, if I do cardio, if I eat healthy, if I drink 6 to 8 glasses of water, if I call my right, if I call my friends or family members or siblings, right? Um, if I learn 10 new words in Spanish, right? If I watch an interesting podcast, right, on how to remember things better, all of those they get access, and you can do it for physical layer. You can do it for any level: physical, mental, spiritual, financial, right? If I meditate for half an hour, I put an X. Whatever you want that goal to be, and you track it. And this provides, the tracker provides a cue for you to do the habits. It increases the motivation because you want to keep the streak. You want to keep putting the X's. You don't want to miss it, right? So you want to keep on putting those X's. And it increases the satisfaction because you completed the task and you get another X and you're like, yes. So that's really, really important. You can actually put another X post completion. And that will increases the likelihood that action will be repeated in the future. So that's what you can do is you can actually track them by using a calendar by putting those X's, right? There's many ways. You can do a food log, but I like a habit tracker. It's a great way to kind of track your progress by simply seeing whether or not you actually completed the task for every day. Because even if we improve by 1%, as we mentioned in the last video, we get remarkable results. So that keeps us accountable. Another thing, what you can do for the bad habits, not to do them, is by doing something called a habit contract. So you can do it with like a friend or someone or you can do it by yourself, and you can do consequences for bad habits. Or so if you do a bad habit, there's consequences. Or even if you avoid a good habit, if you don't do it, then there's negative consequences that will take place. And you can actually literally even sign that contract if you want to go that extreme. But that really will keep you motivated, so you don't do the bad stuff, and then you actually do the good habits. And so just a summary of this book. So that's habit 3, make it easy, and habit 4, make it immediately satisfying or immediately gratifying. And in summary, the emphasis of this book is it talks about the importance of systems versus goals. It's not really the finish lines, but the steps you take along the way. Also, it has an emphasis of identity versus outcome. So we want to be identity based. So every single time we do a habit, we cast a vote for that identity that we want to become, for that person that we want to become, that we want to be, right, in the future. So we have that identity focus. And the last thing, as we mentioned, is small habits versus drastic changes. Instead of looking at the results of the goals, right, we want to just get it started. Small habits is all we need, that 1%, to eventually get 37 times better by the end of the year. It only takes 1% better, right? And if you do 1.01 to the exponent of 365, you can see that you're going to get 37 times better by the end of the year. But if you don't, if you get 1% worse, for example, you actually go down to 0. So you really want to get better. Definitely not get worse, but get better 1%. And by the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better. So small habits build up and create remarkable results. That's why we want action. We want to be consistent. We want to be committed to do it, right? Make it easy. Use the 2-minute rule. Get yourself started. And over time, you're going to have motivation to keep growing. And you can increase the duration. You can make the habits longer, right? But all you need is to get 1% better each day. So even that 2-minute rule already works. And over time, you can get better and better and better. You can increase that duration. But all you need is to keep making those small changes to eventually get the outcome that you want, to get those remarkable and outstanding results in the future. Okay? And be like the people who, and get closer and closer to becoming that person who you want to be. Because every single step, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you don't do it or do a bad habit, well, you're getting kind of further away from that person that you want to become. Hopefully all that made sense. In the comments, leave me any further questions you have about behavioral change, about habits, and let me know what habits do you want to change and what methods are you gonna use. Are you gonna be committed to getting 1% better each day to become 37 times better by the end of a year? Are you gonna focus on the systems approach, right? Really planning how you're gonna do it to eventually get the results, and each time casting a vote for your identity. And what methods are you gonna use to reach your habits? Are you gonna change your environment? Are you gonna use a 2-minute rule? Are you gonna reward yourself after the habit? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time for the next book review. Ciao.